This building in Frankfurt is one of the coolest things I have ever seen. But we're not actually here to look at that building. It's this building is what we're interested in, is Kia. And more importantly, what's in that box next to it. I'm about to go deep inside the bowels of this building to find out all about the Kia EV9 and the future of the company of Kia in Europe. And that's the interesting bit. So sit back, relax, grab a cup of tea, and let's get into Kia EV9 and the future of the company. Welcome to Frankfurt in a super secret room where I'm going to show you the Kia EV9. Before we actually start looking around the car, congratulations America, you designed it. The Americans designed this, the Koreans were involved with this. It's got a lot going on and we're going to come to all of those details. But what I have to mention first though is that Kia brand is changing. The way that they're behaving, the way they're looking at sustainability, the way they're looking at their future. A lot of the materials used inside this car is coming from recycled materials, where the floor even has come from recycled fishing nets. So there is a big emphasis now on sustainability and whole life cycle, even recycling the battery. So Kia is trying to get involved in all of those things as a brand. The other thing they're trying to get involved with is to be able to sell the electricity in this car back to the grid directly in the car, not from your house, not from your solar panels. Your solar panels will charge this car. This car has two-way charging, so it can deliver energy back into the grid. Now, you will require an upgrade to your charge point at home. It's not going to be compatible with that immediately, so the upgrade will have to happen for this to happen. But essentially, this is two-way electricity now for the Kia EV9. So let's crack on with all that in mind and have a look at the actual car. So while the camera's pointing at that logo, I might as well point out that that logo is actually aluminium and is thinner. I spoke to the chief designer earlier on. It's thinner than a normal plastic one. So it's actually made of aluminium and it's been put there. It's a sort of a design feature. But you can see the nose of the car has changed quite a bit. The tiger nose is disappearing off the car in the way it used to look. Vertical headlamps is a new thing that's in it as well. You can see a very big blank space, and these vertical headlamps that are here, they're on now at the moment, and they're actually quite warm. They've been on there for hours. And the LED surround is DRL, so daytime running lights. Also on the front is LiDAR is built into the front. This one comes only on the GT line. It doesn't come in the models below that, but you can specify it. And then down at the bottom here, there's actually a vent, an active vent that allows airflow under the car and under the bonnet to cool the car while it's driving. The batteries are different, but you still need a cooling system to work on. Now, coming around the side of it here a little bit, it's tall. It's a big car, so we're not going to blush around the bush. You can see the height of this car is up around my chest height. So you're talking about Range Rover height maybe. And the size of the car itself is very long, over 5 meters long. It can tow 2.5 tons, 2,500 kgs. And the battery under here is a 99.2 kilowatt hour battery. This is why the car is so long, to fit the battery between the wheel arches. Also on this, the tiger, like I said, the tiger nose is disappearing, but around the side here you get this clean design all along the side of it. This very clean drop line, shoulder line, all these kind of edges that are here. Very flat looking roof, but it isn't actually flat. It tapers off down along the back, and that was told to me by the designer. I can't really see it, but he seemed to be able to see it. It was pretty neat. It does come in this colour. This is not a launch colour. This is actually a colour you can order for the colour. Also on the side of it here, I have rear view mirrors that have been replaced by cameras. I'm not a fan of these kind of mirrors, the actual mirrors here. The screen inside at night is actually kind of hard to watch at night. It shows up little pixels and stuff because it can't see at night. And I just think I wouldn't bother specing that if you were really into it. Coming where the charge point is down along the back here. It is CCS, and you have the same layout here as you would find in any of the other Kias. The door is mechanical, so it closes, but does show the state of charge of your battery here all the time on the screen. So you can actually see when it's charging, that changes colours, it tells you when it's full, there's all that sort of stuff. And you push the button to close the flap, which is kind of interesting. So we come around the back. The cladding along the side, by the way, that plastic cladding is there. That's just a design feature, it's nothing else. Drag coefficient in this car is about 0.28. Which is very good. That's very good for the size of this car. It's very good. And I'm going to show you the seats inside as well. They swivel about and do stuff. But the back of the car has a very fast drop off, big spoiler on the roof here, and a very, very quick drop off on it because it just suddenly ends and the car goes flat down. Opening up Even with the boot, with all the seats in place, you can see you've got still a big boot inside, and you've also got a 3-pin plug in that side for power out, and you can drop the seats and stuff in here from buttons and 12-volt sockets and all kinds of bits and pieces in the back of the car. So you have space, and you also have space in the cabin for all the seats. This car is not going to be cheap. What we listened to today was, it was designed in America. Well done, Americans, you've done very well. But it features a lot of design cues from Korea as well, and the Koreans have designed the interior of it. So you've got these two different diametrically opposed people from across the world, but yet they're working together on one project. So this is more for the American market than the European market, but it certainly is going to come out in Ireland, and it'll be in the showrooms around November this year, so it's going to be quick. While we're on that topic, we're going to have a look on the inside. So this is the interior, and I can tell you now, it's huge. It's an absolutely enormous vehicle. There's no getting around the fact that this was designed for America, but yes, it'll work in Europe, okay? Steering wheel is different for the Kia steering wheel. Everything is different up front. These little buttons here disappear when they're not needed. There are other bits and pieces that come on this dashboard here. When not needed, they will not be there. So the clutter is very minimal. There is physical buttons for the temperature and for the vent system in here on both sides. So it's not that it's all stuck on a touchscreen. That's good. This center console is enormous and is made from recycled plastic. PET plastic has been used entirely to make this. So this is not new plastics for everything. About 20% of the car is going to be recycled. Bits of the door frames, steering wheel, dashboard, top of the dashboard is not painted. There's lots of stuff in here that are going to be fully recycled. They'll also have installing features on demand for the system here, so over-the-air updates will take place on this entire system, but you can also additionally add things to the car and buy them afterwards, and you can also take things with you to the next car. So if you want to, you can install your keys on your phone and give your phone credentials to another phone to share the car with other family members, and they don't need to have their own key to open the car. It's all part of the system. That's going to be a feature we'll have to discuss when we actually get on the road here, but this is a beautiful interior, so well built, so well put together. Every single piece I touch is such high quality. It's very hard to see where the recycling has happened actually, because normally you feel recycled plastic and it all feels a little bit brittle and stuff because it's been recycled a couple of times, but this just feels like brand new crispy plastic. Other single features, you've got heated and cooled seats in the first 2 rows of this car, and you have USB ports all over the place. There's tons of them in here. We'll get into the battery figures and ranges and stuff in a voiceover part, but right now we're going to have a look at the next row of seats because there's 3 rows of seats in this car. So first thing I want to show you about this car is the size of this door. It opens so wide and it's so big, it's so easy to get into this back seat part. But that's not the best part. This is a 7-seat SUV. Now, what's important about that is, you'll notice that that seat is facing this way, this seat is facing that way, those seats are facing this way. You can actually turn these seats any way you want. This seat is swivelable 90 degrees, so pointing towards the door, good for disabled passengers, good for kids, big child seats, putting kids in and out of it, but you can also turn the chairs the other way around, to face in this way. So when you're charging, this is the way the new language is going on. When you're charging, you're sitting around doing nothing in your car, you can all look at each other doing nothing in your car. Or you can all look at each other while you're all talking on your phones, or doing your TikToks or whatever it is you're doing. You can all do it together, communally, in the back of the car, while your parents are up the front doing something else. But it's actually interesting because these seats can flip about. They can go that way, and they can go the other way when I press them the right way around. This one doesn't want to go around for me. I'll get that one. I'll show you the one I'm actually sitting on. So this seat can turn this way to face the door. So you can imagine getting in and out as a disabled user here, or you're getting in and out with a big child seat, you're trying to lift a child into the seat, you can actually turn the seat to face you first. And the seat goes the other direction then to face it back into the car. So if I want to turn it back the other way, it goes all the way around and face it that way. And it really is that straightforward. The back seats then don't swivel, but they do certainly fit human beings in them. So you're not going to be short of space here at all. And there's also settings in this that fold away the front seats and do all kinds of stuff. We'll see what happens on the production model, but this is not a prototype. This is just a pre-production model, not out. There's only 3 of them in Europe, and this is one of them. So Kia say there are going to be 15 new models between now and I think 2027, thereabouts. 11 of those are going to be global platform cars, like this is the second one of these global platform cars. And that means we're going to have a huge amount of interest in EVs going forward. Kia also say about 70% or 75% of the market will be EV, only EV, by 2030. That's not very far away. That's a big number. Nearly 75% of the market is going to be a huge change and a huge shift for all of Europe, not just Ireland, the UK included. We've got to get these things together if we're all going to do it at once. And Kia is trying to get themselves up the forefront. I actually love the look of this car. I think it's really nice. I met the chief designer of it today. I met the interior designer of it today. And all the technical guys and all the stuff that they're really putting a huge effort behind this car. It's going to be a knockout success in the US, I think. I think it really is. And I think if the US market's not paying attention right now, you better be paying attention to what the Koreans are doing. Because here in Europe, these guys are ruling the roost, and they've actually got facilities here in Europe and right in this city, Frankfurt, to build these kind of cars. So it's coming, whether you're ready for it or not. Thank you very much for watching this far, and I hope you've hit the subscribe button, because if you haven't, I'm going to ring you up and ask you why you haven't done it at this stage. Look after yourselves, and until the next time, I'll see you on the far side.